Welcome everyone to a castle game for Zerospace, and today we've got a team game action 2v2. We've got the Legion in the northeast played by Cho and Aaron versus the Grell and Protectorate Alliance in the southwest. We've got Arrival of the Birds and Deleterious Mana. It's going to be a great 2v2 game for sure. I can feel it in my bones. Either way, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Hope you're having a fantastic day. There's a lot to unpack now. 2v2s can be a bit crazy, so we'll try our best. Obviously, we're relatively new at casting Zerospace, and there's going to be a lot of action. Like in terms of heroes, we've got Gallavax already for one of the Legion players, and we do have the Dread Raider hero for, well, either one of the Mana or Birds. I'm not entirely sure which one just yet. Either way, we've got the Tech hero coming in for the other part of the pair from the southwest, the Grell and Protectorate Alliance. So Tech hero and Dread hero versus a Gallavax, and I haven't quite got confirmation of the other, probably Inquisitress. We'll have to see. There's Gallavax looking just to protect the second base expansion for the Legion. Hope you guys are having a great day. Now, obviously, it's going to be action-packed. We'll try our best. And Zerospace at the moment, currently alpha development. It's looking good for sure. Oh, look, a bit of a swap coming in there for the Tech hero. Kind of in danger, though. Going to have to try and back away there. Try to snipe out one of the Harvesters, really. But, oh, Dread Raider coming in, though, from the back. Tries to use a sticky bomb. Doesn't quite land. Gallavax having to back away. Kind of on his own here. The Legion hero on the west side did take that control tower, so we'll be getting a little bit of XP. Maybe looking to snipe out the Harvester. Swaps in, so the Harvester has to retreat, and was poked and prodded by the Dread Raider, although now Inquisitor's heading into the fight. Oh, Gallavax comes on in and does take out one of the heroes. Tech hero goes down. Inquisitor's and Gallavax going to chase down Dread Raider, has to back away. Does have the shield on him, so we'll be able to rescue himself. Got a bit of HP left on him, of course, and interesting opening, of course. Challenging for the control towers, of which there are two on the map. One in the northwest, one in the southeast, and so now with one Raider only alive, one Dread Raider hero, with Tech hero having perished, does mean the Protectorate Grell Alliance will be somewhat absent in the mid-map, and looks like probably both Legion heroes should be able to take those two control towers, get valuable XP because of it. Either way, we did see some barracks being made by the Protectorate, as you expect at this moment in the game, and I suspect they will be going for the ones the area in the middle. Kind of exciting, because there's expansion points heading towards the middle, so it does pull the players towards the middle. Wonder how much of that's going to factor in. Both players from the southwest got two base expansions. Same will be said for the Legion. Didn't quite land with a sticky bomb there, the Dread Raider. Going toe-to-toe with the Inquisitor. Inquisitor does use the charge ability. I mean, I think generally the Dread Raider should be okay with this because of the shield. We'll have to see how much damage the Inquisitor can do. Well, she does get the cleave, so pretty good damage coming out of the Dread Raider hero, though. Happy to take the fight. Inquisitor just running on out of there. Gallavax camping in the middle of the map and maybe looking just to support that work. Where's that worker off to? Is that going to be a forward base expansion? Is it going to be a forward production building? It's going to be interesting to look at, that's for sure. Either way, go for the mercenary cooldown reduction and the top bar energy buff. They're the Legion players. Heading on the east side, a couple of Grell Stingers. Rhino heading forward for the Legion, but there's just too many units here. The Stingers will take that down really fast. Looks like, in fact, the Protectorate Grell Alliance are taking the control towers. Got the one in the east, got the one in the northwest as well. Surprising, considering they did lose their Tech hero quite early. But it's been able to make the move on the map. I think generally happens actually with the Legion. They take a bit of time to get going, but once they do, can pack a punch. A couple of infused Stingers could do some damage. Ooh, Harvester kind of caught there a little bit by some Dread Raider units. Mercenary units, of course. Gets us around on the Harvester. We'll be taking... Oh, swaps him in. I'm not sure if that actually really helped. Kind of allowed the Harvester maybe to get out there for a second, but no, we'll be taking down most likely. Gallavax does use a fireball ability. Doesn't quite land on those Grell units. A lot of them, by the way. That's going to be precarious for the Legion to deal with, that's for sure. Coming on the west side with the Rhino, Inquisitress, and a couple of Thralls. Kind of getting a stranglehold down the middle now as well, but a lot of units for the Grell for mana. Does land the sticky bomb. Going to separate himself from all the other units, the Rhino, although doesn't want to head... Wait, okay, he's going to go and try and engage with the Rhino and everything else. Gallavax does use a fireball ability. Armored Thralls trying to attack as much as possible. There's just too many Stingers though. Tries to retreat and recall a lot of those units for the Legion, but he suffers some losses for sure. Let's get some mines back at home. A third base expansion coming in for the Protectorate down in the south. Really looking to scale that economy to get plenty of commandos on the field. Inquisitor just dives on in, possibly to use the cleave. Doesn't quite manage it in the end. Dread Raider hero pushing it back. Armored Thralls grouping together, but there's just a lot of Stingers from the Grell. That could be a problem. Cho, he's signaling it, trying to get us around. This could be huge actually. Thralls on the northwest, and look at that from the southeast as well, trying to get us around. Does manage to escape a little bit with a couple of units. Guardian Obelisk deployed. Does get some time for it to become activated. Rhino might be caught out, or another little bit of a corner here. That's not looking good for the grell. Needs to back away if he can. Maybe use the underground transport, but it doesn't seem like it's got enough. It has a couple of chakra crabs, but they on their own won't be able to do too much. Did lose one of them in the end, and that's a big pick off. The chakra crabs, they need to stay alive if they can. Sticky bomb goes on the armored thrall, and that armored thrall sacrifices himself. Moves back to make sure the comrades don't get taken as well. Quiz just uses the cleave. He's pressurizing down the south. Protectorate in all sorts of trouble. He does have the third base, but he's going to lose some economy here for sure. 3 barracks under pressure. And this is problematic. Like, some reinforcements do come in though with the form of the commandos, which will help. Will it be enough? The grell need to be here if they can. They're coming in now from the west side with the stingers, but a massive push from the Legion gets a lot of the extractors down, and that means the Hexite income is going to be reduced quite a bit for the Protector, although he's getting plenty on the map because he's got 3 bases after all. Commandos starting to push out. Like, does come a point where actually when you start to scale that amount of economy, can translate to army. Commandos jump jet out of there just as well, because they were kind of caught. Bit of an army coming on the northwest in terms of the minimap, looking to get a bit of a counterattack with those Dread Raider mercenaries. Moving across now. Commando standing firm on top of that ramp. And look at that, we do see the Moran Halo tank pushing on forward. That's the Legion, well, the mercenaries from the Moran, of course, and they're going to be adding to that fight massively. Let's just see. I think generally that it's quite a nice tank to have, actually, the Halo tank, because what it does is it's a heavy tank which can move and attack at the same time, and it charges up a powerful laser, taking that fight once again. And yeah, those tanks getting a lot of value. Gallivix using the fireball ability. Grell trying to hold on with the chakra crabs, but that's a position that is really precarious with the Guardian Obelisk. Going to take out that third base expansion, and that's rough. I mean, ultimately, you know, the good thing is that it is a third base expansion. Legion are only on 2 bases at the moment. It's being denied by the Dread Raiders in the north. So they are losing economy that they had in excess, but it's still obviously a bit of investment lost. He's taking a fight now with those thralls, moving right into the middle. They're putting so much pressure here, the Legion. That's a lot of armored thralls, by the way. That's going to be tanking a lot. It's going to buy a lot of time as a meat shield for those mercenaries on the back line to really get their action on those Halo tanks. But I like this play by the Dread Raiders, just preventing any third base expansion for quite some time. At least in the north. Third base expansion up and running on the east, though, for the Legion. Talents are coming in thick and fast for the Grell Protectorate Alliance, though. That's going to be helpful. Recycling in. So resources gained from killing enemies, and gets the advanced sensors extra bit of vision for them. Taking the fight down the south. Ooh, this could be a tricky one for the Protectorate. It does have a lot of commandos to be fair on the back line. The base expansion possibly a little bit greedy. I don't think that's going to go up, and the armor thrall is going to definitely try and punish that if they can. Do you see the hovers, the hover tanks, light tank, which can attack while it's moving? There aren't that many of them surviving. Commanders do jump jet out of them, that position. Reaver popping in for the Grell. Walking backwards, apparently going to charge on through, on top of the Legion units. Gallivix, though, deploys a fireball, pushes away the commandos for now. Does take out that base expansion. Was a little bit greedy in there. It's punished quite heavily. Does have a striker, though, at the back there. That could be really useful for the Protectorate. That could do some good amount of AoE damage. We'll see how much value that really brings to the fight. The striker, see that long-range artillery still firing away. Quiz just does get hit by the sticky bomb. Allows him to back away for now, absorb that fight. A couple of obelisks on that third base expansion, putting pressure now on the Protectorate. Quite heavily loses it in the end, and now down to 2 bases. That's problematic. Reaver charges on in, tries to buy some time. Going to tank a lot of the fight. Bastion coming in play. The Bastions could help deal with the thralls, the ranged thralls if they get close up to them, but so could the strikers. Massive striker shot. Inquisitors, though, on the front line could cleave in their way through. I think Inquisitor dies there. She does. Just bit off too much than they could chew, and 2 of those strikers being infused by the Grell. Infused a couple of commanders as well, so should be a good hold. They have suffered some damage, that's for sure. Having said that, the economy is still looking fairly decent. They're getting a lot of Xite, so the Grell and Protectorate Alliance by no means out of this. With control in the middle, denying that rich flux. Really good use of the Guardian Obelisk as a top bar ability for the Legion. And here comes a Terror tank. Now the Protectorate still on mostly commandos. Trying to focus on those armor thralls. Strikers getting good value though on top of that ramp. And well, he's losing a lot of units here, the Legion, but he does use the fireball from the Gallivix. Takes out so many of those commandos. Absolutely massive shot. That was a big game changer, that's for sure. Sticky bomb comes out for the Dread Raider hero on top of Gallivix. Gallivix has to back away. Terror tank is working super hard. Some reinforcements do come in for the protectorate, but again, they're the weaker units, and Gallifex does get taken down before the fireball ability comes out. Krieger on the field as well, and they're going to teleport out of there. They've done some damage. They've taken some losses as well. It feels like the Grell have really suffered there. Down to 30 supply. But great action-packed 2v2 so far. They're pushing on out to the middle. Recall comes in for the Legion. Looking to regroup, reset, and recalibrate. And Grell now coming in with a couple of stingers. Oh, crazy game so far. Exciting. Lots of talents in for both teams. Oh, but look at that. It's going to be dreadnoughts on the field. The new unit for the Legion faction. Super excited to see how this one does. It's a heavy aircraft unit, as you can see. It's got installable turrets, just like the Terror Tank does. It's got a bomb bay, which can increase the amount of bombs dropped off during bombardment by an additional 3, which is pretty big. Command module, which adds a sensor onto it, and a sensor array, and enables a teleport ability, which is kind of cool for this dreadnought unit. The last two is you can get the beam module, which gives a 30% weapon damage and 200 range for the main beam weapon, which is the flagship thing. You'll see it in just a moment, I'm sure. It also has an anti-air turret missile, which can attack both air and ground units, but deals an additional 3 times damage to air units. And it can attack whilst moving. Pretty strong. As you saw there, that was the beam attack from the Dreadnought. Can't wait to see some bombardment maybe from the Dreadnought. We'll have to see. Either way, the Terror Tank coming on the northwest does have some turrets on it. I think those are the Pulse Forge accelerators on those guys. And that would increase the attack range, I believe. And also the attack speed of the Terror Tank. Moving on in, you can see the Dreadnought using the great classic beam attack. It's a bit of an issue for the Protectorate. I mean, they've got a lot of anti-ground units in terms of the Strikers, and look at the Stingers heading forward, but I'm a bit concerned about their anti-air capabilities. So Dreadnought numbers starting to climb up for the Legion. That's going to be a tough thing to push back. He's pushing back in the southeast, but mostly on the ground. I'm a bit concerned that when the Dreadnought numbers do start to escalate, it could become a problem. You can see how much their main beam weapon is doing, and I don't think Commander's going to cut it in terms of anti-air. It definitely needs some more than that. All drops down a whole host of Guardian Obelisks. That's going to buy some time in this southeast location. Legion hero is actually in the middle of the map, putting some pressure. Maybe look to get control in the middle again. There is high yield, rich flux in the middle, of course, so it's definitely an area to be contested. And look at that, 3 Dreadnought now, doing all sorts of damage on the Reaver, I gotta say. Strikers, though, need to back away, and this is the thing, there's not enough anti-air capabilities for the Grell Protectorate faction alliance. Adding in a couple of flame turrets on the Terror Tank, heading towards the middle, looking to maybe push on in. Really, up to now, look at the population supply. I mean, actually, to be fair, overall, probably relatively equal. Cho leading the way for the Legion. Moving in with the Strikers in the middle. Again, looking to get hold of that rich flux in the middle, at least protecting it, deny it from the Legion, of course, which the Legion actually depend on it quite a lot more than the other factions in the game of Zerospace. And moving on the middle now. Alright, taking the fight. Strikers on the back line. There's just not enough Thralls. That's not a good fight for him at all. Threshers are deploying, but gaining mostly friendly fire. Oh, Gallivac's coming on in, does use the fireball ability, gets a couple of commandos, but not a hugely clean hit. But take a look at that. Those 4 Dreadnoughts now. He does have those Weavers, the Grell, to drag those Dreadnoughts down to allow the ground units to do some damage. But those Dreadnoughts are super tanky at this point. Really crazy show-stopping unit for sure, and especially with the Armoured Thralls for the Legion. They are tanking so much from those commandos, forcing the commanders to attack the Armoured Thralls, allowing the Dreadnoughts to get some value on the skies, and dropping down the talent, the Monolith. Doing a heck of a lot of damage, and look at that, the Strikers having to focus on that. Dreadnoughts, though, in such good numbers, and population is looking decent for the Protectorate, though, I've got to say. But I think most of those are weak units. They're mostly the commandos that just don't seem to scale well at this stage of the game. You know, we're 14 minutes in. But again, mass numbers of units like that could maybe pack a punch in a group. Striker trying to get rid of Krieger, who's on the field now. Does get stunned, but manages to back away. Puts down the Guardian Obelisk, and allows the Thralls to push on from that location. Oh, Dreadnought might actually bomb that area. Oh, God, those commandos need to back out of there. Gallivac's using the fireball ability. And a lot of those commanders getting demolished by the ranged Thralls as well. Even more Guardian Obelisks. The push is heavy from the Legion. They're heading on in, and I mean, those Strikers that have been infused have been around for a long time, so they must have a lot of kills on them, which is great. Again, challenging the middle. The Legion needing that rich flux, of course. Strikers trying to do as much as they possibly can. Looks like there was a behemoth at one point. Not so sure it's alive now. Coming in from the north, Reaver. Also a couple of those Stingers, but they don't last very long, and Gallivac's burning the rest of them. Although Commander's actually doing a decent amount of job. Oh, that went down, didn't it? That Dreadnought got taken down by the Commanders in the end, so in a mass like this, not too terrible. But still, 2 more Dreadnoughts on the back line. Commander's slowly pushing forward. You just have to be careful actually, the supply is not looking all that great. Commando's taking down that Guardian Obelisk, and actually to be fair, they're holding. They've got lots of multiple base expansions, especially the Grell expanding north. I like that. The economy is looking solid still for both players, although Mana's kind of struggling in a bit, but he's just recently got those base expansions in the north, so that will kick in at some point. Spreading the grass in the middle. Dreadnoughts just poking the head through, and with 3 of them now, that's going to pack a punch. Question is, will the Grell and the Protector have enough to hold? Adding another terror tank. This is where Legion actually start to become really strong in the late game with their premium units, the heavy units, the Dreadnought and tanks. They keep together, and that's a lot of stingers. The concern is Mana's got a lot of tier 1 units. A lot of his population grouped into that. Krieger just trying to push this all back. And a lot of armored thralls and dreadnoughts together could be a problem for the Grell and the Protectorate. Kind of concerned is that the Protector and Grell are kind of fighting on 2 fronts separately from each other. Thresher deploys but doesn't get the range on the enemies. Does take out 1 thrall though. A big armored thrall. Dreadnoughts though in the south. Again being pushed by the Protector, but again not enough anti-air, you feel. Gallivax uses the fireball ability on the Threshers which are deployed. Does explode and does a bit of damage. Does manage to survive that Thresh in the end. Redeploys. But not for long. The Dreadnoughts moving that location, and with 2 terror tanks, this is looking rough. It looks like we'll be able to bring that Thresher back home with the underground transport. Either way, the Protectorate are grouping together, coming back home to match with the Grell to fight on one single front, you feel. As you'll see, maybe they've got 1 or 2 big pushes left in them. Oh, infusing a couple of the units. It looks like it's infusing a couple of the commandos, as well as a stinger or 2. Either way, there we are. The infused commandos popping out now. Commandos moving on the right side. They get to poke their head through that way. Splitting up from the Grell for now. Mostly melee units from the Grell, but does have 2 Threshers, 3 Dreadnoughts, working their way through the tanks. I mean, that's 3 terror tanks. That's 3 Dreadnoughts. That could be overwhelming. I mean, Protector have a lot of supply, but they are the squishy commandos. They're trying to do as best as they can. But ultimately, I think the commandos don't scale pretty well. So whilst the numbers look good, although to be fair, the strikers look good. All the Grell, they're coming in from the right side with the stingers, right on top of the terror tanks. But these guys are beefcakes. The tanks will just mow them down. Recall comes in. Terror tanks back on out, and Dreadnoughts are pretty okay actually. There's not too much in the way of anti-air. They just fly on out. A lot of commanders taken down pretty quickly. Although Chakru Crabs coming up on the right side. And the Grell looking to snipe out those harvesters to deny flux. But ultimately, 3 Dreadnoughts, they're holding firm. Does lose 1 in the end, so down to 2. Reinforcements coming in with more commanders from the Protector, pushing them back. And now I know we're seeing a bit of lag. Yeah, I need to reduce the settings for my recording capture really, because it's 4K and pretty heavy settings. So clearly can't handle it at 4K at this stage. Yeah, it happens, so apologies. That's only going to go for the next minute or so, I think, because I'll be able to fix that pretty quickly. Either way, flowers come down for the Grell as a top bar ability. Commanders jump jetting, trying to get close to those Dreadnoughts and snipe them if they can, but 3 terror tanks joining the fight once again. And this is not looking good at all. Monoliths get spawned for the Legion. Going to be a good standing ground to attack from the Reavers, and the Strikers having to back away, as well as the Commandos getting picked off though on the retreat. And wow, this is a big pushback. This is a defining moment in the game, I think. I mean, those terror tanks, 2 Dreadnoughts, are really pushing heavily. Not looking too great for the Grell Protectorate Alliance, I've got to say. Happening back, and yeah, you can see the population supplies really starting to plummet. They got good economy, but they don't have the units here. Mana just not having enough of the Hexite coming on in. And taking the fight. 3 terror tanks still. 1 camped up on the ramp. Gallivax uses the fireball ability on the Reavers. Does a lot of damage on them, but it does have the shield on it, so it's tanked quite a bit. There we are now, back to normal visuals. Apologies for that. Hopefully it won't happen again. Again, 2 Dreadnoughts from the right side, just calming down those numbers of commandos, whittling them down. Armor Thralls going forward for the Legion. They do get sniped, but they buy some time for the Dreadnoughts to do their work, right? They're taking down commanders one by one, and all that really remains is a couple of Strikers and a couple of Grell Reavers, which are, well, one of them's infused, to be fair. That might go down quickly. Gallivax uses the fireball ability on those Strikers at the back, and they do manage to escape just in time, but not without taking too much damage, and this is looking really dicey now. Legion coming in with those Moran Halo tanks on the right side, pushing on forward as the mercenaries, and well, this is not looking good. Camping out the production. The army split into 2 for the Protectorate and Grell. They can't fight a unified force, and that's looking rough, that is for sure. Still 1 more Dreadnought remains, and whilst a lot of units have gone down, does take a Juggernaut out pretty quickly. Holy smokes, ripped through that. Yeah, this is looking dicey. I mean, this is like a 3rd base expansion, or in fact, that's the 2nd base expansion for the Protectorate, so losing that's going to be devastating. Going to lose the production. Grouping up together on the right side as well with a lot of thralls and 2 terror tanks. Things are looking a bit rough. I think they're calling it. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Arrival of the Birds taps out. GG gets called. The Legion, they take the victory on Pathfinder. It was a cracking game for Zerospace. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you subscribe to the channel for all things Zerospace.